our ND Nation podcast. I am Evan J. Thomas. With me, as always, Dennis Stover. And on today's show, we'll be doing our game-by-game predictions of the 2023 Notre Dame football season, what to expect in Week 0 versus Navy in Ireland. One of our favorite segments, Name That Former Irish Player, is back with a new little twist to it as well. But we're going to start off by introducing our guest. He's right here. He played for Notre Dame from 1995 to 1997, was one of 3 senior captains in his senior season, set an NCAA record with 9 touchdowns, 3 as interception or 9 touchdown returns, 3 interceptions, 3 punts, 3 kickoffs. Was drafted in 1998 by the Philadelphia Eagles in the 3rd round with the 85th pick. He played for the Packers, Falcons, Steelers, 49ers, them Cowboys, made the Pro Bowl in 2004 with the Falcons, and was the NFL punt return yards leader with the Falcons in 2003. Here he is. Welcome to the show, Alan Rossum.
How you doing, man?
Pretty good.
First of all, man, hell yeah.
For anything,
was that good? Was that good? Did I at least not mess it up too badly? What did I miss?
No, I just want to make sure, I got to give you a round of applause. You pronounced my last name correctly. I don't know how people.
You were an actual one of my favorite players with the Falcons and Eagles. And I mentioned that to you too. That's why.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
how do people usually pronounce your last name?
Rossum.
Oh, wow.
Rossum. No.
Rossum. Yeah.
Oh, it's funny. I live here in Atlanta, and there are a ton of Eagles fans here. Whatever reason.
That's odd.
Atlanta has a lot of Giants fans, Cowboys, Eagles. It is the weirdest dynamic, and Laker fans. It's the weirdest dynamic ever.
Wow.
That's an odd one.
Most expensive places. They come here for more suitable living, I guess.
Are you a Braves fan?
Am I a Braves fan? I am a local fan. So any state I live in, I'm a supporter of the local team. So
Dennis and I are both huge Atlanta Braves fans, and that's actually one of the teams that when we were sophomores in high school, that's how we met. That was one of our teams that we followed together and kind of watched the TBS games and whatnot. So
the next best thing since next to Notre Dame. So
you're loving how the season that Acuna is having and the team is having.
Oh yeah, MVP all the way.
They're gonna be fine.
Been watching the MLB TV every game. I don't get any of the Chicago teams up here, which I'm happy for. So I get to watch the Braves every game. So it's pretty nice until they play the Sox or the Cubs, and I can't watch the games. The local blackouts suck. So what is new with you, man? What have you been up to? Obviously, the last couple of years since your retirement. What have you been up to?
Well, man, I've just been enjoying life, working and just watching my kids grow and go off to college. I have one at North Carolina who's a senior this year, junior at UCLA. And then my daughter from Stanford just graduated this past summer, is now getting her master's in finance at the University of Oregon. And then I have a senior in high school. As far as personal life, coming up on like my 24th year of marriage, which is crazy within itself.
That's a round of applause right there, man.
I have a senior in high school, and I have 4 daughters.
Wow.
They all participate in the sports, but now only 2 of them do in college. The one that's now at Oregon, just getting ready for the Olympics next year. Junior at UCLA, who happens to be at home right now, driving me crazy because they were all here last weekend together. 1, the house was extremely loud. And 2, they had pool parties like every day. Now the house. As far as business is concerned, I have a construction company and a private equities company. So I'll invest in pretty much anything that makes sense that will eventually make money. And then on the construction side, that kind of pays my everyday bills. For my free time, other than trying to, go on this date with this hot chick I married 20 plus years ago, I have a youth track club called ATL Zoom Athletics. And to date, we have 116 kids in college in our first 6 or 7 years. And we have kids everywhere, man. Obviously, my kids that went to North Carolina, Stanford, and UCLA, but kids
great
everywhere.
Work, man.
I tried to get a couple of them to go to Notre Didn't.
Yeah, why not?
To be frankly honest with you, the recruiting wasn't there. But Harvard,
Well, shame on ND, man.
but they kind of caught on late because we have a really, really good team that they now compete against all of our kids on the college level.
Right.
But we've had kids win nationals, win international meets, and all kinds of stuff. So it's been good, man. Life is grand. Every day is a different, channel on the TV when you have 4 daughters, especially when they're home. Because they want to go. Dad, I don't have a curfew in college. Why should I have one here?
Yeah, exactly.
But it's good. Who am I to complain?
Right.
Nester, kind of.
When was the last time you actually were back at Notre Dame, or how often do you go back?
Oh, that is one of the true joys that I have. I have an understanding with my wife. I get to come back as much as I want. So I'll be back this year for the Tennessee State game. I usually come up for the California game. I think we play at Clemson, which is close to my house. So I try to make 5 to 7 games a year.
Good you say that, because I'll be at the Tennessee State game as well. And I'm most likely going to be at the Clemson game because my parents live 2 hours from there. So I'm trying to make it out. So it should be fun.
Are you flying into Atlanta?
No, I'm going to drive.
Oh, okay.
They live in North Carolina. So I'm going to take a week off and just spend some time with them and then go down for the game on November 4th. So that should be fun.
Yeah, so I was there during the monsoon game at Clemson.
Oh, dear Lord.
Oh, was that 2015?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember watching that game, and I was trying to tell the kids, I'm texting the coaches, by the way. This is the weird dynamic that I have with some of the coaches, especially when BK was the head coach, because Audrey Denson was a coach. And
Right.
We were coaching, including BK. And so I'm texting them during the game. Tell the kids take those gloves off. Those little slick gloves. I think was it Cliff Robinson or David Robinson Jr. Dropped the touchdown.
Yeah, Corey Robinson.
Corey Robinson.
Oh my gosh. And I think we had a fumble or two. But because I played in those games, there are particular gloves you got to wear. In a rainy game, you got to wear leather gloves. If it's hot, you can wear the stickies that everyone loves to wear, the shiny ones, and you have all the the ND symbols on the bottom of them. But
if I remember too, they had a hard time tackling Deshaun Watson that game. Or I know, was it? Yeah, it was Deshaun Watson.
Deshaun.
Yeah, that was a tough game overall. I thought we played well.
I think the better team that game was Notre Dame for sure, but it was a questionable play call at the end there for Deshaun to run it at the 2-yard line. They could have just rammed it right down there, but that's why I'm here and not a coach.
You see the look and the smirk on my face. Here's the crazy thing, man. So every Saturday, I'm on a group text with a whole bunch of guys. A lot of guys probably been on this podcast. And if Notre Dame ever Ring of Honor, all of those guys are on this text. And so we literally are just armchair quarterbacks on Saturdays. And we're just like, run the ball, great tackle.
Right. That's how him and I are.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like Dennis and I do, but we're not former players for Notre Dame. So you one-upped us on that one. And the cool thing is you are basically our same age. I'm 48, Dennis is 48, so you're right there with us. So
no, 47. He's 1 month older than I am. I was looking. He's right there. Happy birthday, by the way. It's coming up. Yeah, I just looked. Yeah, he's right there. Same age. Because I'm November 13th. So
yeah, my October 22nd coming up.
Yeah.
2 weeks older than you, or a month. There you go. You're right.
Basically.
Damn, that's awesome. So yeah, that's
pretty good.
Cool. We kind of get to see you just grow. Now you're our age still.
No, I remember watching because you played Greg Madison was your defensive coordinator, right?
Yes. Gosh, I was watching the Florida Netflix special last night. I watched the first episode. And I saw Urban, who was my receivers coach. I saw Charlie Strong, Greg Madison. It was so many guys.
Wow.
So many guys. I'm just like, hey, I know that guy.
Who was the offensive coordinator? I forget because
the offensive coordinator.
Yeah. He came from Syracuse, didn't he? Because he coached Donovan McNabb.
So that
was that after.
Brother is younger than me. So I think I know who you're talking about. But he was
I think Jarius Jackson was his QB.
Yeah, so Jarius was my senior year. Rotated Ron Paulus, I almost called him Runny P because that's his nickname.
Yeah, that's right.
Jarius. Yeah. So those were some good times, man. You just look back at, some of that footage, as my kids call the grainy VCR tapes.
SD, not the HD movies. So
that's funny.
Like, what is this, beta? So it's as they got older, they kind of realized, especially I had a daughter who went to Notre Dame for a year before she transferred to North Carolina, and she ran track there. So it was just too cold for her. She was just like, hey, man. It was never this cold during the football games because I always took them up for the California game or the first couple of games of the year. So it's still hot. So she was just like, yeah, I don't even have a big jacket. Like, this is crazy. So she's down in the Carolinas enjoying it. She says they have a pretty blue color, so she's okay with
it. Can't go wrong. Can't go wrong with blue, but yeah, that just having kids, basically in college, one that actually kind of went to Notre Dame, like you said, for a year, and then kind of all sporadic across the country. You said USC or UCLA?
UCLA, Stanford.
Right. Don't say the other one, right?
Well, children.
So I go out to LA often, also, especially when my other daughter was at Stanford, so I get a chance to see them. And now they compete against each other in track and field, just like they did in high school. So It's a one-stop shop, and plus LA is not a bad place to hang out.
Oh no, not at all.
So we ready to talk about some 2023?
Some ND?
Yeah, let's actually start the recording and start the podcast.
All right, well, actually, it is recording.
We were just getting to know each other.
The good thing is I'm not on the timer anymore. So after 40 minutes, it's not going to shut me off. I upgraded, so we could do 30 hours if you really want to. Just saying.
Awesome.
I know we're not going to sit here for 30 hours. I'm just joking about that crap. So anyway, so we have an opening day game this Saturday. So we're only just hours away.
First game of the season, right? It's for everyone. It's the very first college football
first game that anybody will see in college football is Notre Dame versus Navy in Ireland, which should be, I don't know, what is it, a 50.1 over under? 21-point spread?
I'm going to check.
I think it might be, I thought it was 51.
So
but anyway, what are we looking at for this game? Obviously, we got a brand new quarterback, got a lot of new stuff going on. We got every year's new, but what are you guys expecting? And I'm going to start with Alan, what you kind of are looking forward to this coming first game.
Well, I'm looking forward to how everyone gels with because not only that, we have a new offensive coordinator, we have a new line coach, we have a new quarterback who came from the ACC that was kind of known as a system quarterback, as the previous guy was a highly touted quarterback as well. But unfortunately, we haven't heard too much about him since he left and went into the draft. But I'm looking for success. I mean, the only thing that I expect is excellence, no matter what the situation or no matter who the opponent is or where we're playing. That has always been the standard, whether I was playing under Coach Oates or Bob Davie or when I played in the NFL, the only standard was excellence, and victories always take care of themselves. So I expect them to come out and execute. They have a little jitters, maybe even a little bit of a dead legs in the beginning because it's such a far trip over to Dublin. I made that trip in '96. I think we made that trip also.
This was the first team. Yeah.
It was Navy. And over to Dublin. So that is a nice long trip. Coach Holtz gave us a little time, probably a little bit too much, but to ourselves. But I think they'll be fine once they get their legs back under them and they get back into playing football. The best thing to do, which I love these first games, now you get to run into somebody else, that you don't really know. And there's no hard feelings, you know what I mean? Like nothing personal, so. Navy always came out and played us hard, though, which I hated, but I loved at the same time. What do I mean by that? I hate it because I'm like, yo, man, we're so much a better team than you. But because they played so hard, you appreciated that they were in our armed services, potentially fighting for our freedoms and our livelihoods and our namesake and our lives. potentially in a war. So you appreciated that. So we always showed homage to them after the game, no win, lose, or draw.
Yep.
Appreciated it from them, but hated playing the Army academies, man.
They're physical. They're physical too, so they wear.
You're not the first player to say that either.
No, they had that option, man, and it was just a lot of tackling. And I wasn't known for tackling. I was known for like getting the ball across that white line into the. So, but I truly enjoyed playing corner. But I expect excellence from them. I expect Sam to come out and execute the game plan. But our mainstay is still going to be our offensive line. We have 2 potential first round. Am I a little bit ahead of the game? I like talking football, so please tell me.
No, you're good.
Talk all you want. We love it.
Yeah,
man.
this is great.
It's going to be our offensive line still, whether, just the right tackle or left tackle. They're both highly recruited. Joe Alt obviously is probably one of the best in the country. We'll see how they gel with the new offensive line coach. We've always had tremendous offensive linemen and offensive line coaches at Notre Dame. So the new coach has a lot to live up to. And then we're going to see how Coach Freeman, how he has gotten the team ready to go in his official 2nd year. To me, it seems like he's been coaching there for 5 or 6 years. I'm like, this dude's only in his 2nd year as a head coach, But it could be because he was a defensive coordinator. Then he had that one game as a head coach in a bowl game. Yeah. And then last year was his first official year. So I'm looking forward to seeing all of those things. And then, let me just back up. Also, how the defense plays, and because in a couple of weeks we're gonna truly be tested as we go through the schedule. And I'll tell you when and where I think we'll be tested the most. But just to kind of see how the defense plays, we lost some edge rushers. How our field corner plays this year. Now that everyone knows who he is. And he's no longer a surprise to people like, who is this number 20, making all these plays, and he has good size. So, he's gonna have some matchups that he's gonna have to contend with. I know that for sure because my sophomore year I dealt with the same thing. I wasn't his size, but it was a guy by the name of Keyshawn Johnson and Terry Glenn and I had to match up with as a sophomore, one-on-one. And Coach Host was just like, you got him all over the field. I'm just like, why? You have Sean Wooden, the senior, on the other side. But I took the challenge, and I'm looking forward to seeing how they.
Awesome, yeah. And Dennis, what are you expecting out of this first game?
Out of the Navy game, I expect. Well, one, I don't know why I can't shake it, but I always hate going into Navy and having a major injury for some reason because of Alan brought up how they play and how they block and run their offense and stuff. So that always bothers or worries me. So hopefully we come out injury free, but for some reason, I think there might be like a big player injured. With that being said, I think it'll be a big win. I think the running game will definitely be established from the line, but it sounds like we have a lot of running backs that'll be able to handle the duties, which will give Audric a lot of rest, and then it's not plausible to say his average could be 7+ yards a carry. With that line, and if he gets rest, he's going to have a pretty special year. So I think we'll see him get going. I agree with everything Alan said. It'll be a little sluggish probably coming out, and hopefully they don't turn the ball over early and let Navy hang around. That would be unfortunate. I think they'll be able to capitalize on some turnovers with going into this year. They didn't have too many last year. I don't think, not enough. And the thing that worries me most about these first couple games and maybe the year is the new coaches and their new duties, like Gerard Parker, Joe Rudolph, the offensive line coach. We don't, they have resumes, and we got to believe that Marcus Freeman hired the right guys because he worked with him at Purdue and Cincinnati. But I don't know. He didn't light up the room or anything or do great things at West Virginia. So hopefully he can call good plays and coach well with better talent. So that's my thing. And then we'll get into the record later. So maybe that's why I'll
definitely be going over that next segment. What I wanted to say about how I'm looking for this game to go is the offense, just to kind of just put it on Navy. I'm actually predicting the very first drive is going to be a long bomb somewhere to somebody, probably Merriweather by Sam Hartman. And I think they're probably going to score pretty early and then use that to their advantage for the rest of the game, utilizing then the run game and that scare of the pass, like deep or anything like that. You're not going to have Michael Mayer this year. Obviously, he's now with the Raiders, but that he was a good down guy. But they have so many wide receivers now this year. You got Chris Tyree that moved there.
Yeah, but
Merriweather.
Coming out of wide receivers, you hear they're still, I don't know, not that they thought they would be progressed further along is out of camp and into this week than they were early on. It was like, wow, we got some depth at wide receiver, and which there is depth and there is talent, but for some reason, I guess some of the route running still wasn't as crisp and precise as it needed to be, and there's still easy drops, I guess, from cats that shouldn't be dropping the football.
But yeah, you were saying about the running game, that running behind that offensive line, they're just going to have field days against, hopefully Navy and the Tennessee States and the Central Michigans. Hopefully we get to, run the ball up their ass basically during the game. So that's what I'm looking forward to. And I do have a prediction for later in the show. That's our last little thing we're going to do is the final score of the Notre Dame Navy game. So any other comments about opening week 0 on Saturday?
No, I know we're going to get into it.
Playing them first. Another thing that was always an issue with playing the academies is that we always played them either the week of midterms, or so you're trying to study, and then you got class, and then you still got to study this tape. So now they're coming off. They've been able to prepare for them pretty much all summer during training camp, and they'll get this game out of the way. It's going to be a tough game. It's going to be a bruising game, very physical. But this is almost a culmination of training camp this week. So I prefer to play Navy first than how we would normally play them in the middle of the week. So I think it's a plus for us. And as soon as we get up a substantial amount, I think we just pull our starters out because we have such a long season before us.
Yeah.
A long trip back. We've already made the trip there, and you got the long trip back. The trip back to me is always longer. Maybe it's because of the jet stream, but also because you're just ready to, you're exhausted. You leave right after the game. They should leave right after the game anyway. And so they can get back as quickly as possible.
There you go. All right. And like I said, we'll get into the predictions of our game later, but now it's time, Dennis.
Uh-oh. Here we go.
We go to break. I'm going to just go over, name that former Irish player.
You're just going to ask the question. You're going to ask the question this year at first, and then we'll go back.
I'm going to give you the stats, and then I'll give you your 4 options on who they are.
Right. Okay. Oh, 4. Oh, okay. Wow. Thank you. Nice handicap.
And then we will go to a quick break just to kind of breathe a minute, and then we'll come back, and then you'll get to guess. So here we go. You ready, Dan?
Yes, sir.
All right. So name that former ND player. And Alan, try not to give it away anytime soon for us. So I know you probably know who it is, but let's do this anyway. So he played linebacker for the Irish from 1995 to 1998, recorded 245 tackles, 43.5 for loss, and 5 interceptions. Here are your options. You have Trevor Laws, Courtney Watson, Junior Bryant, Corey Minor. All right. So I will come back. We will go on to quick break. We got Alan Rossum. We got Dennis Stover, me, Evan J. Thomas. This is the We Are ND Nation podcast. We'll be right back. Dennis gets to pick who it is. Right back. Stay here. Welcome back to the We Are ND Nation podcast. Evan J. Thomas, Dennis Stover, our special guest, Alan Rossum. I did say it correctly. Thank you. Because I've been watching you for 25 years at least.
Yeah, man, it's so awesome.
We know how to pronounce your name. Those that are actual fans know how to do it.
Yeah, I'm sure I probably yelled at you once or twice through the TV, so I don't know. Or probably mostly yelling for you because we had some great returns. I mean, you were electric to watch, so.
It happens, man.
I mean, come on, with the Falcons and the Eagles, my two favorite teams you played there. So besides Notre Dame, it's just awesome. Anyway, so before break, we went over the name that former ND or Irish player. I don't remember which one it actually is.
I don't name that. I think it was named that former ND player, but whatever.
Former ND player. So I gave him that. This is our first defensive one that we've done. I've always done offense. I don't know why, but this is our first defensive one. So here's your multiple choice. This is what you got. Played linebacker Notre Dame from 95 to 98. Recorded 245 tackles, 43 and a half for losses. He also had 5 interceptions. These were your options: Trevor Laws, Courtney Watson, Corey Minor, or Junior Bryant. Dennis, name that guy.
Courtney Watson. It was Corey Minor, wasn't it? Yeah, I knew it. It was the guy we had last year. See, that's what I did every year. I want to
give it away by just putting him in there, but that's why the options were there. Dennis, yeah. I know you had that one up. That was a layup.
Nah, was it? I'm gonna start asking you these questions, and you'll see how hard it is.
I'm not as good as you are, though. You're.
Well, I'm good, but obviously I'm not that good because.
I'm just glad I picked some good guys that were around.
I do like the multiple choice. I don't know why I was dead set on Courtney Watson, because I was like, you said Courtney Watson, then you said Corey Minor, and I was like, it's probably Corey Minor, but then I answered Courtney Watson.
So now we're going to get into, let's see, it is going to be our breakdown. No, it's our breakout players for 2023. That's next. So let's get into that.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So I have an offensive and a defensive player that I picked. I don't know what you guys.
I did too.
Okay. Alan, I don't know what you went with, but we're going to start with you. Who do you see as a breakout player for the 2023 season?
It's always easy to go with the quarterback, but I'm gonna stick with Chris Tyree on offense.
Okay.
I'm gonna play that slide running back. He's gonna get the ball a lot, in my opinion, where he should. I mean, we already know what SMU is gonna bring to the table. He's coming downhill. He's coming fast. We know what the offensive line is gonna do. Kind of know what the quarterback is gonna do. But I'm going to stick with Chris Tyree. I don't know if that's even considered a breakout because we've been knowing him for the last number of years as a kick returner, playing running back, even playing a little slot. But I think he's going to have even more of an impact because of the running game, because of the threat of the passing, the new scheme, all the accolades that the quarterback had while he was at Wake Forest. So I think it just adds just new threats to us. And hopefully they forget about a 6-foot under guy by the name of Chris Tyree.
There you go. Anybody on defense? Who did you go with that?
On defense, man, it's pretty simple to me. I kind of gave it away with Benjamin Morrison, but I don't know if he's a breakout either because he kind of broke out last year. But I like to stick to my guns because we play the same position. You know, he's a lot bigger than me. So I guess I picked both guys who I played the same positions that they did. While I was at Notre Dame. So I guess I'm a little biased.
That's okay. You can be.
And I'm going to go with my 2 picks. My offensive pick was Meriwether at wide receiver. I just figure with his height and now with Sam throwing the ball to him and the other options that they have too, I think he's going to put the most. I mean, what did he have? 1 touchdown last year and it was an amazing catch. Then did nothing else for the entire year. So they didn't.
Because they didn't play him.
Yeah, they didn't play him. They didn't even throw to him. So it was kind of worthless. So I kind of see him being the guy to break out this year. I do follow his father on Twitter, so it's kind of interesting to watch him kind of go at it here and there. My defensive player, I got Javonte Jean-Baptiste, the transfer from Ohio State. I think he's going to just kind of rip it up on the defensive line.
I like it.
Okay.
I like size as well. With the 6'4" frame, he's
a big dude.
For me, so I like his size as well. So hopefully he's ready to take that leap because we're going to need him.
Mm-hmm.
Dennis, what do you got?
Offense. I was going to go with Chris Tyree at first, and then I realized he's who I picked last year, and also too, like you said, I wonder if he is a breakout star. So for breakout star, I'm going G-Brand Payne. Because I think with the running backs, we're going to be able to push. He's already listed as second on the depth chart. And Freeman was giving him a lot of praise, and I guess he had a pretty good camp and stuff, along with Jadarian Price too. So it's my toss up between them. And like I said, Estime is gonna run wild. So I think we could possibly have, because last year if they would have got the running game going earlier, you could have very well have said there could have been 2 1,000-yard rushers. So I think this year we could possibly have 2 1,000-yard rushers, while Hartman also gets some stats in yardage. So I'm going to go again with Gibran Payne. And on defense, I've always liked this kid because I thought he always had a nasty intention in him and like played with a little bit of a chip on his shoulder, and he hit and he's not afraid. He's got an attitude. Jordan Botello is going to be my breakout. I think he's going to eat some shit up on the Viper position and coming off the edge. Yeah, I think that's my defensive breakout. As far as breakout goes, I wanted to go with Morrison and stuff too, but he's established. And I also thought Cam Hart, because people are going to be staying away from Morrison, possibly, and maybe, depending. So that'll give Cam Hart a lot of looks, and Cam Hart's a pretty stud too. So
that actually then is a nice transition into our offensive and defensive player MVPs for the season.
Yeah.
I will start this one, and actually my defensive player of the year, or MVP, I have is Cam Hart at defensive back or cornerback. So I see him, like you said, Morrison's going to be an amazing. He's a young dude. He's still going to be there, but Cam Hart is like that guy in the defensive backfield, and he's going to just be there. So he's going to be making plays all day long. And then offensive MVP, it's kind of too easy to kind of go with this. I did go with Sam Hartman, quarterback, just because. I mean, Ian Book was that guy for a long time.
What do you mean, that guy?
That guy
by being that guy that couldn't get the big one done.
He won games, but he put up numbers.
Yeah, he won games again with a great defense and a capable offense. If we had Sam Hartman any of those years, we would have definitely won. Oh, come on. Anyway.
You're right. If Sam Hartman would have played 7 years ago, which I think he did, he would have been the MVP of the team. But that's who I'm going with. Sam Hartman, my offensive, and then you got Cam Hart, defense. Go Dennis, next.
Me, MVP Sam Hartman, because I think, honestly, and I'm also going to say this as being a homer, I think Notre Dame's going to have a good year. We'll get into the record and stuff, but I could see Sam Hartman finishing in the top 5 of the Heisman if Notre Dame really gets it together, maybe even top 3. So Sam Hartman is my MVP for offense, especially if the receivers help him out. And I'm going to go with Xavier Watts on defense. I think safety play is going to I think a lot of teams are going to try to, I don't know, maybe teams are trying to run the ball. It's unknown. I think we'll be able to rotate a lot in on defensive and the front 7. So I think they're going to see the DBs as kind of trying to press DBs. Plus, we got to go up against a lot of good quarterbacks this year too. So.
You do. And Alan, what do you got for your offensive and defensive MVPs of the season?
I think it's going to be a sweep, but it's just crazy because I look at valuable players a little different. So you have victories, quarterback gets the accolade.
A win.
It's fine. So it's obviously going to go to Sam Hartman. But the heart and soul of this team is going to be Estime and the offensive line. I think if we go in and set the tone with that offensive line and Estime, Sam is going to run away with every offensive player of the year, quarterback of the year, because it just opens up his passing game. And because of many young receivers, even though we're deep, we're young. In my opinion, just from the age standpoint. I think it's going to, and we lost a vital part of our offense with our tight end. So we have to lean on that running game and, with the running backs. So it's going to set the tone. It's going to open us up for play action. And then Sam, all he got to do is just pick everything apart. I'm glad he got in early. I'm glad he made his decision when he did it. And he's been able to learn the offense because there are big things. And what he's going to realize is that ACC is cool, but when you play at Notre Dame, it's like none other. It's like SEC football. It's like the Pac-12 championship every single weekend. Because what I realized is that it didn't matter who we played. It was their national championship. So we better be ready to go. And that's how we kind of lost some games. You're like, how we lose to those guys? because they were so amped to play us, and we're thinking about, oh my God, it's just this team, and we always beat Northwestern. And
You bring up something that I love asking, because I have, it's one, I fangirl when I get to meet all these players that I, love, and from teams and the eras that I love, especially the era, my favorite teams were obviously the Lou Holtz teams. And that's when Notre Dame had this swagger and just this, we're fucking Notre Dame. So I wonder now, because what you just said a minute ago, you had said it was everyone's bowl game. Do you think it's that way still? Do you really think that it's everyone's bowl game still?
I think it's everyone's bragging rights now. Oh, what I mean by that is that, especially if you come.
I mean, Marshall and Stanford beat us at Notre Dame Stadium last year. Is that a good bragging right for some team now? Because it's like they beat us. I know, man. It drives me insane.
Look, I'll put it like this. My daughter went to Stanford. She cheered for Notre Dame.
Oh, really? I love that.
Stuck with that. I expect.
So that's all. I mean, you don't have to. I just was wondering if it's still everyone's big bowl game. I mean, sure, Navy and stuff.
If you got, I'm just looking at the schedule. You have, say, a Central Michigan is going to come in here just like, who was that, Toledo or somebody last year, Miami of Ohio, whoever.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It was an utter embarrassment. That is their bowl game. This is this is it for them. Not
sure those schools, but what about other schools like the USC's and the Ohio States and
those are bragging rights. So here's what happens. College does not stop at college. When you get into the NFL, I remember I called Coach Kelly, who was the athletic director, but we still call him Coach Kelly at the time. And I'm going in on the entire staff. I'm just like, I haven't got my sweatshirt. I haven't got my because these Michigan guys, USC guys, are getting these boxes in from the schools. I'm just like, dude, hey, where's my gear? Like, where? So yes, it still means that. And talk about a team like USC, that's still a rivalry. We beat them 14, 15 years in a row. Then they turn around and beat us 14, 15 years in a row. Then it's the infamous Reggie Bush push from the back, which is illegal in the game at the end of the game. So it's still there. That mystique is still there. Mm-hmm. Coming to South Bend and playing in front of Touchdown Jesus, even though you can't see it anymore, it's still there, man. Because we are both the most loved and the most hated institution in the country, if not the world, and I love it. So yeah. I appreciate it. I still get people that'll be like, and this ages me, especially when a guy goes, "Hey man, I grew up watching you play Notre Dame when I was like 6 or 7 years old." I'm just like, "Oh my gosh, thanks, appreciate it." I don't know if that's a compliment or not, but I think it's still there. So a team like a Central Michigan or a Pittsburgh or even a Wake Forest, they're going to be riled up to play against Sam, guaranteed. Sure. Yeah. There's wanting to come in for the bragging rights, saying I came in and I was one of the schools that beat Notre Dame at home, because we've always had a good home record. Even when we beat Clemson last year at home, it was. I mean, that game meant a lot. So I still think it's there.
Well, what was it last year? The streak was broke because Marshall beat. It was it like up towards of 20 some odd games that we won? And that's what I remember in the early, 80s, 90s. Obviously, the aughts, whatever. But Notre Dame. You did not beat Notre Dame at Notre Dame Stadium. It was a thing.
It was crazy because I was telling my wife this. I said I played for some of the most historic franchises in the college and the pro level. Yep. Green Bay is just a professional version of Notre Dame. For years and years and years, Green Bay was game as soon as winter hit or October. And I played there. I know we went undefeated. As soon as it got cold, it was like, oh, we're going to win this game. And it happened. And guess who was the team that beat? When I went to Atlanta the next year, we came up there and beat you.
Michael Vick, that's right.
That's
right.
That stuff still matters.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you for answering that question. That was great.
So the way you just said it too, and you're right about it being some schools still bowl game.
Well, yes and no, because every school gets a bowl game now.
Yeah, that's true.
But I didn't defensive MVP.
Go for it.
I think it's the other corner, Cam. No
Cam
question.
Hart. So you both, yeah.
Because whenever you have a Charles Woodson, you have a Sauce Gardner, the other guy's going to get everything.
Yep.
Guess who is balling out like crazy? Kobe Bryant in Seattle, because he's actually good.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? And you're going to find out how good Cam is.
Yeah.
Like, you know, well, maybe not too early, but
Well, he was good.
probably week 3, we're going to find out.
Yeah.
Definitely know how good he is the Ohio State game.
Yeah. Speaking of Ohio State,
Marvin Harrison.
They have another good receiver over there as well.
who else they got behind him? Because I forgot who the other guy was.
I'll tell you right now, but I know that they have.
Yeah, they do have another guy.
They have running backs. I forgot the name of the other receiver because Marvin gets all of the accolades, but he's good too. He probably had 1,000 yards last year as well. I mean, everyone probably had 1,000 yards.
Jackson Smith? No.
No, Jackson Smith just
He was drafted, right? Yeah.
I'll tell you, my computer all of a sudden is working slow. I was just pulling it up. All right, here we go.
Gonna do game by game now.
All right, we ready to do the game by games?
Yeah, let's do
I'm
it.
sorry.
So you ready to do game by game? All right, I will go. This is how we'll do it. I'll go first. Dennis will go second. We'll have Alan go third. Cool.
Okay. Yeah, for every game, great. Are we doing a game apiece, or are we gonna go through and do the whole season each?
Do the whole season. First game, and then I'll read off second game, and then we'll go down the line.
Okay, so we're each gonna answer the first game, and then it's got it.
Right. So we'll just go.
Yep.
There you go. All right. So obviously week 1, we got Saturday, August 26th versus Navy in Ireland. I do have it as a win. Dennis.
I have that as a win as well. A lot to a little.
All right. So we're going to game 2, September 2nd at home against Tennessee State. Home opener. I will be there. Obviously, Alan said he's going to be there. So like I said, we got to try to meet up at some point. Probably going to be at Lee Becton's
Tailgate.
so I'll be there, and also with George too. So if you want to head over there.
Oh, man.
I know it sucks, doesn't it, Dennis?
Yeah, it sucks for me.
He has best food combo out there, so of course I'll be.
George has a nice spread. As long as he's not on the field that day doing NBC stuff, we'll be good. So,
Well, I learned a long time ago to guard myself and hanging out with offensive and defensive linemen because and all kinds of stuff.
they eat a lot. All right. So anyway, my game 2 pick, I got Notre Dame, another win, 2-0. Dennis.
Yeah, Notre Dame over Eddie George as coach. Yes, I take Notre Dame.
George was coach there. That's
For
right.
Tennessee, yeah, and it's HBCU school, so that's very rad.
So a lot of people in that game. I have Notre Dame in a blowout in that game.
Yeah.
Which that would be a fun home opener because obviously last year I got to sit through a loss and that's not fun. And then game 2 I was at, and then that was the Hail Mary that landed on the guy's chest and he dropped it. So, whew. All right. Anyway, game 3, September 9th at North Carolina State. I have that as a victory. So 3-0 to start.
This one this was one of the 3 games that I had questionable as far as, because I'm gonna do certain games I'm gonna say a little bit, but not too much. So this was one of the 3 I was having a toss up between, and I'll go into obviously what I'm gonna predict or record, but I'm picking this as a win. I felt after thinking about it and doing some research, I was like, I think they'll get this one.
All right. So 3-0 for Dennis, and then Alan.
I think we'll win this game as well, although I'll give it a 60-40, or it's not 70-30 at best. It's always going to be tough playing those teams like State at home. They're going to be hyped. It's going to be on national TV. This is like one of their bowl games. They will be well prepared. They could care less about the first 1 or 2 games that they have. Prior to this, all summer they have prepared for Notre Dame, and they know the quarterback. They know his weaknesses. They know his strengths. And Sam Hartman. So I think they'll be well prepared. Ultimately, though, I think we will come out with a victory.
There you go. So North Carolina State will have the big shamrock circled for September 9th.
Not only that, but last time we played there was that hurricane, and BK thought he was going to pass the whole game, and we lost what 10-3 or some shit like that.
God,
The whole game.
why do I forget
He
stuff?
passed the whole game,
And I
because
think
you shouldn't, because that's.
That was another game I was texting Autry Denson like, hey,
I bet.
no, you don't call plays. Let me talk to him. I was texting everybody.
Oh man,
I was texting, hey, look, I'm gonna come through this TV.
all right. Game 4 at home against Central Michigan on September 16th. I have that as a win, so I'm starting off 4-0. Dennis.
I also have them winning Central Michigan as well.
Yeah, I think we may start out a little slow from that one from after the NC State game, but ultimately second quarter on we'll dominate and the game will be untouched.
Okay, we get
All
into
right, here it is.
ready to roll.
The
September
first of the gauntlet.
23rd, our bowl game at home against Ohio State. We need to come up with a nickname for Ohio State. You got spoiled children for USC. We got to come up with
I got nothing, man, for them.
nothing right now. I mean, what are they? The Nuts? What
The
can
Buckeyes.
you? Buckeyes.
I don't know, man. We're just, you know what it is? It's because as much as you want to talk shit about them, we can't, because we'd all, as loving this, I would all like to be where Ohio State is, all the time. So anyway,
all right. So for the Ohio State game, I have this as a victory. So I'm
wow.
thinking both teams are going to be 4-0 going into this game. And the reason why I'm considering it a victory is because of the home field advantage. I'm hoping that Ohio State, the conglomerate that shows up to the games, I hope it's not 35-40% of that corner, because if it is that much, that's going to be a scary game. So I'm hoping it's like the normal, 10-15%, but it is going to be a lot. And that's the game that will actually turn the tide for Notre Dame for this season. Dennis.
That's a loss. Yeah. I think Notre Dame will play really well. I just don't want to see. Last year, what upset me about it seemed like they were very happy with the Ohio State loss, and I think that's why we lost those two games last year, because they coached. You competed. You had a moral victory.
Great game.
Sorry, but fuck that. I want a victory. You should have put your foot down on their throats. You had 7 to 9 minutes to go, and you beat that Ohio State team, as far as I'm concerned. With that being said, it'll be a very close game. I just don't think that they're going to squeak it out.
Gotcha. Alan, what do you got?
I look at this Ohio State game as the Notre Dame Georgia game probably 4 or 5 years ago.
Oh,
2019.
To the last play, Ian Book took that sack.
Yeah, that's because who was tackled? Oh, McGlinchey just stepped aside and let him get sacked.
I was at that game with my daughters. Very tough game. And that's why I said the Central Michigan, we would start out slow, because probably after the NC State game, we're going to prepare for Ohio State. Yeah.
Right.
That's why I said it would start out slow. So the question is, will experience take over? It's a second-year head coach, but you have an experienced quarterback. But has he played on this stage before? You have experienced running back, so will they actually lean on the running game, or are they trying to get Sam drafted? So, believe it or not, consciously or
I
subconsciously,
love that.
coaches actually put game plans together on behalf of athletes. Okay, because I guarantee you, Marvin Harrison is going to get the ball. Junior is going to get the ball. He's going number 1, 2, or 3 overall, and there's going to be a reason for it. Because if he got hurt last year and kind of cheap shot in the end zone, they would have beat Georgia. Okay? So I'm not going to be able to pull this one out as a night game against Ohio State because of Marvin Harrison Jr. He may just be too much for us. So I'm just curious of what type of game plan are we going to have. Are we still going to play field and boundary, or are we going to play with a safety over Mr. Harrison and lock our corner up, our 6'1", 6'2" corner, with their second best receiver against our number 1 corner, which is what they should do.
I like that game plan.
If that, then we'll be fine. But if not, then we'll probably lose a heartbreaker. So unfortunately, I have us as a loss.
Okay, so you guys are at 4-1. I'm at 5-0 currently. We're going to the Louisville game, October 7th, which again I should hopefully
No,
be at.
it's Duke is after Ohio State.
Oh, my bad. That is Duke. September 30th at Duke. Thank you for pointing me. So that's a win on my book. So that's what
I got a win on that one.
Dennis, I missed that.
Sorry, man. Okay, yeah. I'm picking Notre Dame to this was one of the three that I was like questionable about, but I also have so NC State was the first one, Duke second one, but I have us winning against Duke.
Gotcha.
Actually.
Pardon?
Even though we'll be it's not Chapel Hill, that is Durham.
That's Durham.
I think we'll dominate them because of the sour taste in our mouth from the Ohio State game.
Right. Exactly right.
Pick us up and show us, hey man, this is our second year in a row that we have lost the nail biter to these guys. We're actually good. Stop pissing down your leg, let your nuts hang, and let's go show the world who we are.
Yes.
What happens on the road is you have no one else on the road but you. At home, you got your parents there, you got fans there, you got to walk through, buy a touchdown. Geez, I don't know if they still do that or not. They got to walk.
They do.
You are. Well, when you're on the road, you got 50 people there, maybe. You know what I mean? So all you have is that close knit. So the true teams show up on the road, especially defense wise. So I think we'll dominate the next couple weeks leading up to this.
Okay, so you both are at 5-1. I'm at 6-0. Now going into Louisville, October 7th, which I should be at. I have that as a victory, so that would be my 7-0 to start the season. Dennis.
I have this as a loss. I think they're looking ahead to the spoiled children, and they take them for granted. And it's on the road too. I don't know. This was the third of the three that I was questionable about. And I'm sticking with my final record of what I'm predicting for them. So this is the one that I'm going to say this was my toss-up. I think they lose this game. Looking ahead to spoiled children.
You're at
so even though I think we're going to win this game, the problem with this Louisville game, thank God Lamar Jackson isn't coming out the locker room.
There's no doubt.
The problem with this game is what he's alluding to is something called a trap game. You would think it would be for Ohio State, but I think we've already kind of prepared for Ohio State.
Right.
For Navy. So we're going to play better against that team. USC, you got Duke, you got Louisville. Depending on, that's what is going to be key. The leadership on the team. Are they going to keep them focused to go from week to week to week? Because like my freshman year, we had a lot of great leaders, but they didn't keep us focused. And we lost a lot of games like that. My junior year, Kenan Taylor. I mean, you had all these leaders that were there. They were just like, you got Ronaldo Wynn, Kenan Taylor. You had those LaRon Collins. You had those guys like, no, here's what we're doing. It's week by week. So we had a much better year my junior year, probably our best year of my four that were there. So that, even though that is a trap game, I think that after that Ohio State game, the light bulb is going to come. So I give this a victory.
All right, so we got that. Next is the other huge home game, October 14th, University of Spoiled Children. As Dennis loves to say, I have this as a victory. Only because I think that they're going to handle that offense finally, hopefully, this year. Dennis?
Yes, I am predicting a win over the University of Spoiled Children because I think Marcus Freeman has this circled on his. I mean, obviously Ohio State, but I think he's looking ahead for this one because I think they were, for some reason, they were embarrassed by Caleb Williams, which he's a good quarterback. I'm not going to take any of that away from him. But I don't even think he was the best quarterback in his conference. That's just an opinion. And I just, I can't get him out of I think he's still running around back there. And so I think they're gonna play with some bad intentions, and it's at home. And I really hate USC. So
that crowd is going to be amped up for that game.
Yeah.
Alan, what do you got?
I guarantee you, I hate USC more than you do. And so let me just give you a little caveat. So I was at the Notre Dame USC game last year.
Oh man.
Wow.
My daughter went to Stanford, dated a running back from Stanford, then he transferred to USC. Now he's starting at SC and had a great game, by the way. Austin.
No shit, really? Wow, he did have a good game.
He actually won the game for him, even though
I agree.
It was given to the quarterback. But if you just look at the stats, the guy had 150.
I agree.
Rushing. It was just hitting yardage, but he was killing them 18 yards.
Yep.
Yeah, so I hate SC. I hate them so much that I put on a red sweatshirt because it was chilly last year, but it had Notre Dame football on it. And people didn't realize, they thought I was there for SC, and I was like, no, it's Notre Dame football.
That's fantastic.
That just shows you that LA people can't read.
Yeah. That's why they're called the University of Spoiled Children.
So
you have it as a victory, is what I'm kind of getting here.
My heart will let my head say anything else, or vice versa.
There you go.
I'm going to pick us against them. I will never say that we will lose to SC.
Awesome.
So, and here's why I think we're going to win, because they're going to try to get him drafted number 1, Heisman Trophy winner.
Oh, right.
Throw that ball. They're going to try everything. They're going to throw so much schemes. They're going to have him scrambling. They're going to do everything, just like they did last year.
Yeah, I was going to say just like they did last year. Exactly.
That's their bowl game.
Yeah, I was so happy. That was probably my favorite bowl game. Seeing Tulane beat them. That was excellent.
You and I texting that morning when they lost was just awesome.
Yeah.
Best part
I really, really can't stand Lincoln Riley either.
Hey, you know what's after the game, I'm with their families and they're all crying.
They're crying because they beat us?
They lost, man.
Oh, because they lost the game against Tulane. Oh, okay. That's fantastic. Yeah, well, wah.
Just your expression right there, just knowing how much
that's awesome.
Seeing them cry.
You might be MVP just with that statement.
Love
it.
I love it.
Yeah.
See, to me, that's one of the greatest things about watching college football is watching the other team's fans cry. Like when you see that kid at the Michigan game when he was crying with sunglasses, he's like, ah! That kid, he's in memes all over the place. That is the best. I love seeing it.
Yeah.
I mean, they're talented. Sure. They reloaded again, just like any other powerhouse or Power 5.
Man, they've got a bunch of free agents.
They're number 1 in the NIL. So what do you expect?
The best money can buy other than University of Texas.
Right. So and he still won't have a defense. Riley, get out of here with that guy. Just let him you know what? He can at this point he can coach and have another 17 Heisman Trophy winners. That cat still will never win a championship.
I'm happy for him.
I like it. All right, so the next week after the USC week is our first bye week. So unfortunately, I think USC has their bye week before us.
Yeah, that's how it always goes.
They always do that. So it's kind of week. So October 28th will be the next game Notre Dame plays at home against Pittsburgh. That to me is probably going to be I can't say the toughest game because you have the other two, but I don't know. For Pittsburgh usually plays us pretty well to the end of games as well. So I have Notre Dame actually winning this game too. I have them undefeated to this point, and that is what, 9-0? I think so. Yeah, 9-0.
I have them beating Pitt. I think they're going to get in Dracovich's ass, and Narduzzi always shits the bed when he comes to Notre Dame. They always play tough. I mean, it's tough, but yeah, go Irish.
Alan?
I have a game as well. I do.
That's easy enough.
Yeah. I have us winning against Pitt.
All right. November 4th at Clemson. Hoping to be there. You said you might be there. I have this as a loss to Clemson for Notre Dame.
My turn?
Dennis, yes.
I have it as a loss as well. I think Clemson is people are going to sleep on Clemson this year. I think they're going to be pretty good. And I think
Typhoons or hurricanes either.
I think, well, FSU, everyone's, they're a sweet pick and stuff, but I just, Norville hasn't done anything. I mean, yeah, he's had a couple 10-win seasons at Memphis and stuff like that. They won 10 games last year. They got better talent or whatever. They got a pretty decent quarterback, but I think Clemson's going to win the ACC and beat Notre Dame.
All right, Alan?
Toss up, man. I think we're going to find out if Joe Alt's going to be the first tackle taken because they have some pretty good edge rushers. They've always had a good defense. The difference is a confident quarterback back again. Not like they had 4 or 5 years ago with old Sunshine down in Jacksonville right now.
Everlord Sunshine, Ronnie Bass.
So that is to me is why I think Clemson will win the game. And they're gonna have some. Whenever you go down to Clemson and play in South Carolina, and it's the only thing going on, they're gonna have a little home cooking on their side as well. So I'm full Monty of how I think this game is gonna go. A lot of Notre Dame fans will be upset, thinking that we're not getting calls or we get some calls that should not be made. Could be a little crazy weather down there, and that crowd is gonna be into the game, which is nothing different for us. The question is, do we think the season is over now that we beat USC? That is a tip. So I'll take Clemson at home.
Okay, so Dennis, you have 3 losses right now to this point, right?
I do. Yep.
You said what?
Dennis has 3 losses so far to this point. Ellen has 2. I have 1. The next week will be a bye week between the Clemson and the Wake Forest game. Wake Forest is November 18th at home. That is senior day. That is Sam Hartman going against his former school where he put up all the numbers. I think he's going to put it on them and get them Notre Dame a win. So, for me,
win at Wake or win. They will beat Wake Forest at Notre Dame. That's what I was trying to say. Yes.
It'll be Sam Hartman Day again.
Right.
Is that his Heisman Trophy game?
Depends on if they have the dream season that you're picking or if they have the realistic season that they're going to have.
Don't just look at me. ESPN and other people have them.
No, I saw it. See, ESPN is fucked up because they had him one time as like going 11-1, and then there's other idiots on there the other day, and he's saying exactly the opposite. Basically, what I'm saying, like he only picked him to have 8 wins. So I'm like, wait, is he? And he was he's quoting his own station, and I'm like, so do you have their index of power high or not? I don't understand because they had every game except for OSU them favored as.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Even USC. All right.
USC was a toss-up, but they had him slightly over USC.
Okay. I can see that. The Clemson one, that I'd have to let it play a couple games to see how their offense is to kind of go that route.
Anyways, just let's do the Stanford game and then let's go in because I got
Stanford win. So I have them 11-1 Notre Dame on the season at the end. Dennis.
I got Stanford as a win, so I have them at 9-3.
I have Stanford as a win, so I have them as 10-2. The problem is Notre Dame could also be 8-4.
Stop! See, I knew it. Yes, they can. I knew it. But they can be 11-1 because honestly, and this isn't the biased homer in me, they are outside of OSU the better team every week.
Sure.
I mean,
I gave them the benefit of that. I thought they would win 2 out of the 3 of the big 3 this year, which is Ohio State, USC, and Clemson.
Same here. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I thought they could easily lose to Louisville or Pittsburgh.
Right. Right. Oh, yeah, exactly.
Whew. All right. So that was a haul doing that one. So we have Evan 11-1. Dennis is 9-3. Alan has 10-2. Going into Saturday's game, let's give our predictions for the score. I have mine ready to go right now. I have Notre Dame beating Navy to start the season 1-0, 44-9. Dennis.
48-17.
50-20.
And I shouldn't have picked 17 because they don't really kick field goals. But anyway.
That's actually why I picked 9 is because I figured they might. Dennis, what did you have?
Okay, I just got a couple other things too. Okay, going into like 2024 and next year with the going to the 12-team format, and then spoiled children and UCLA going to Oregon and Washington going to the Big Ten. So this is what I want to say for this damn Southern California University. Enough of this. When they come to Notre Dame, I want to schedule the games in November. So they're sissy asses. Because we switched with them in the 70s or something because they kept bitching about, oh, we don't want to play in the cold. Well, now, guess what? You're going to be playing schools that are colder than, you're going to be coming 8,000 miles across the country so fuck you, and we're going to play you in November now. That's what it's been killing me. So we baby them. Why are we doing good for them? Southern California, get out of here, man. So now we're going to schedule you so your sissy asses can come and be cold in November. That's what I wanted to say. It's been killing me.
They don't own jackets. I mean, what are they going to do?
Well, they're going to have to buy some. They can afford some, I'm sure. They're doing just fine.
That was Dennis's rant.
Yeah, I was killing me ever since, and I saved it up for the show because it was driving when they announced that. I mean, think about it, right? We did that in the 60s or 70s. They used to come. They would come to Notre Dame because we always play them last game of the year. So now that you decided to join the Big 80, and you're joining the huge conference that's going to happen, and you're going to travel now, and you're going to have to play in colder elements. Minnesota. What if they got to play a game in Minnesota? That's cold. They play open air. So now we're going to go back, and we're going to put you at the last game of the season, and you're going to come to South Bend in November at the end, and you're going to freeze your ass off, and you're going to get waxed all up and down the turf.
It'll be like Boston College last year when I was there in that Snow Bowl, and Boston College didn't want to play. They did not want to play in the snow, and we just went putting it on.
Yeah.
God, if we could do that, like you just said, if we could schedule them in November, late November every year.
Yeah, we don't need to honor their little October thing anymore. Oh, cold. Well, yes.
Oh man, Alan, hopefully you had a fun time on the show.
I did, man. It was awesome. You guys were awesome.
Hopefully
you're awesome. Thank
language
you.
Wasn't too blue for you.
Yeah, sorry, I get going. I'm cutting back a lot though. I realized I was like, man, these guys, they went to they're probably religious and went to a Catholic school and stuff. I should be a little more respectful. So.
And the funny thing you say that, like I watch Corey Miner's videos every day on Facebook, and he's like the nicest guy, and we're sitting there just dropping F-bomb. And
yeah, I know. I'm like, I should clean it up. So.
You don't have to. So, Alan, thank you. Anything you'd like to plug before we go?
I'm sorry?
Anything you'd like to promote or plug before we go, or where to find you?
Track Club, go to atlzoom.com. I'm actually doing that website, so don't go there. Just go to us on IG on ATLZoom.
ATLZoom. There you go.
Off season, I revamped the website, put new stuff on, where the kids go, and that type of thing. So I'll go to the website now. But other than that, let's go Irish, man. I look forward to seeing at least 1, 2,
10 wins.
4, 5.
Oh, that you're going to.
6 or 7 of these games.
Nice.
Wow, that's fantastic.
I'm going to be at least 2, hopefully 3, maybe more. We'll see how that goes. And hopefully Dennis can get from New York to Chicago to see the Pittsburgh game on October 20th.
Definitely want to try that. And I'm going to try to the Duke game as well. Because Kevin and I, my friend, we've already researched it. And we found it's not expensive at all. So.
Not expensive. Dude, those games are like $30 for a ticket.
Yeah, it's great. I just want to say too to Alan, thank you so much for coming on, and thank you for winning games while you went to the beloved Notre Dame. And also, I'm sorry you got hosed. That the athletic department didn't make a good choice because you were on some better teams than the record showed, and you always played your ass off. So, thank you.
And you're a Lou Holtz guy too, so that's always.
Well, Lou recruited him, so
I know.
And the craziest thing, he came to me one day in practice and said, hey, you know how to catch a kickoff? Yeah. Well, I saw you do it in high school. Put me in the first play, scored a touchdown.
Wow.
Can you catch a punt? I'm like, is it anything like catching a pass? And he goes, Hunter, kick the ball. Hunter kicks the ball. Hunter the punter. kicks the ball. Lou Holtz, all 135 pounds on him, with the towel around his neck and a hat and glasses on, catches the ball. I told Coach Holtz in my confident fashion, Coach, I got you. Didn't even practice catching punts, by the way.
Oh, that's awesome.
He's going to put me in the return punts. I play nickel, I play corner, starting at receiver. There's no way he put me in. He goes, hey, you're taking the first punt back. What? The first one, I'm only going to have one punt, just like I only have one kickoff a game. And take it back 25 yards. The very next fourth down, he goes, take the next one. I'm nervous, about to pee down my legs, score a touchdown, 75 yards. After the game, he goes, hey, you put Alan Rossum back there to return punts. He goes, yeah, I just need to teach him how to catch the punts. So he tells that story a lot better than I do. But great guy. I'll be there for Lou's Lads. I think that is the Central Michigan game. It may be the Tennessee State game. I got to check my emails from Reggie. But Coach Holtz has always been a great person to be mentored by and to follow. I saw him last year in New York. He's getting older in age, but he still has that sense of humor.
Sure. And I got to give a big thanks to Lisa Kelly, a friend of ours, for hooking us up
Lisa.
with you to get on the show, because she is amazing. She's hoping.
Yes. Thank you, Lisa Kelly.
She's going to join us next week because she's in Ireland right now for the game. She got one of those lucky tickets. She even said to me, she goes, if everything goes right with the plane ride home, I'll be on. So Dennis, let's look forward to having Lisa on. Alan, amazing having you on. Thank you guys both. Dennis Stover, Evan J. Thomas. We are the We Are ND Nation podcast. You can find us on our website, weareNDNation.com. We are also on College Football Dogs website and all over the media. We're We Are ND Nation. So and this is always one of my favorite things to end up with.
Yeah.
Till next week. Go Irish.
Go Irish and fuck the University of Spoiled Children.
Yeah.
See you guys later.